Today I'm going to be reviewing the Husqvarna 128C string trimmer. This is more of a HomeOwner model in Husqvarna's lineup of weed whackers. This one's about 14 years old already, I believe, somewhere around there. And we did not use it too much, or we weren't very hard on it in its first part of life, around the first 8 years or so. A few years ago though, we really started putting it to work as we had more to do around the farm and all. I got more into that stuff and absolutely used it as a workhorse. 20-acre hobby farm, horse pasture, fence lines every summer, and a lot of other stuff, trails in the woods, ditches around the farm, lots of stuff. And really, it has never needed a thing other than we replaced the spark plug, air filter, and fuel filter 2 years ago. Other than that, it has never needed a new part at all, except the only other thing I can think of is the part in the head that holds the string busted. We had a parts weed whacker though I got for free at one point, and that had a good spool on it, so I swapped that out, and I'll show you more about that later. But overall, reliability wise and parts quality wise, it gets an A+ there. Shortly after we bought it, literally a few days after it was purchased, a sheet of drywall was dropped on it. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a significant bend here that's not supposed to be there. And a full sheet of drywall dropped on it, just gave us that bend, never affected usability. This is a curved shaft model. And the only other issue there was, which is a somewhat common issue, and you can get away with not spending any money, if it don't turn off, sometimes the turn off will be delayed, or it just will not turn off at all, and you just gotta pull the spark plug boot off to get it to turn off. That can be because of dust and debris buildup under the covers and by the ignition coil and everything. You just take all the covers off and clean up the ignition coil and any debris around there under the covers. Just a good idea in general to do. And then it turned off better after that. The problem just came back actually though. Might be time for a new ignition coil, or just clean it more regularly. We've got this patch of weeds behind me that I'll be cutting today. I'll go ahead and use it, but before that we have to reload this unit with string. I like to use Oregon Platinum Gator line. It's the blue stuff, and this weed whacker takes 0.095 inch size, and this is a very good line. I've been using it for years. Shout out to Oregon for sending me this roll for today's video. We'll be using it today, and it is rated at 3 out of 4 in durability there. You'll see that on most weed whacker string brands, the packaging, and I can stand by that. I agree with it. Very good stuff. I use it in the woods, ferns, fence lines, whatever it is. This is what I use. I don't cheap out online. I really don't like the cheap stuff. It's worth it to buy the good stuff, for sure. And another nice thing about Oregon is on their spools and even the plastic smaller rolls, they make it good for storage. Their little plastic containers are heavier duty than other brands, and on their spools they have little hooks to hang it up. So that's an added bonus. So we can get our line off the roll. It just rolls off real nice off these Oregon spools. So we'll cut our desired length. I think it's around 15 feet you can fill these up with. That's not a huge deal though. You can use less, whatever. You'll get used to eyeballing it basically. That's what I've done. I've done this hundreds of times. And this model only takes one piece of line. You just match up the ends, find the middle, like so. And then you go to your spool here, make sure it's going the right direction. There's arrows here to guide you. Hook it in, use your thumb as a guide to make sure the string is on both sides of the ridge. And then just roll, like so. And this just takes a few seconds. And make sure you leave maybe a foot or 10 inches like this. That don't matter too much, you just don't want to be too short. And if you have extra, just cut it off. Or the blade on the guard will take care of it. Now, there's two little notches here to help you keep the string in place while putting it back on the trimmer. And we'll go like this. And you just guide the trimmer into the metal notches on the body head. And just like so, pull tight just a little bit. And I mean, one piece will always be longer than the other. That'll even out over time, of course. This piece is a little long, even for the blade that's on the guard, so I'm gonna cut it. Just that little bit helps. Like most modern Husqvarna units, this takes 50-to-1 fuel ratio, and I do recommend the Husqvarna oil. That's what I run. It's a good oil, and in the first few years it helps out with your warranty. So let's get to trimming. For startup, you've got your purge bulb right here. You can press that 10 times. Or something like 10. Don't really matter too much, just about 10 times. You have a blue lever for your choke. Pull that so it's pointing out for full choke. And then middle is half choke. All the way back to flush is no choke. Put it on full choke. Husqvarnas are always on unless you turn them off, and then they'll revert back to being on. So let's fire this unit up. to waste your time doing too much weed whacking. And this is some pretty thin stuff anyhow, especially for the Oregon Platinum Gator line. That stuff will go through anything. But for being a homeowner model Husqvarna curved shaft trimmer, this thing has definitely stood the test of time, and I definitely recommend this model. Granted, it is not a professional model, and if you're running a lawn care business every day, it might not be for you. But for the average homeowner, this will last a long time, even if you do put it to work. So, I mean, parts longevity is good. Hasn't needed much, as mentioned before. And it's a bump head. As you've seen, you just bump the head on a rock or whatever to get string to come out. So that's a review on the Husqvarna 128C curved shaft string trimmer and Oregon Platinum Gator line. Both very good products.